All right, so I'm setting up. All right, give me just a second. I'll be in the seat. All right, so hi again. I'm back. So what I got right now, this book it's got short stories in it, so it's like really short, like not like typical stories. Um, and so this book is called The Stinky Cheeseman and Other Fairly Stupid Tales. So it's kind of got a little bit of a twist on some fairy tales that you might recognize. I'm going to just read a couple of them, okay? And then you'll kind of get the gist of what some of the stories are. Alright, here we go. This is an introduction. I think I'm going to read this, okay? So the introduction says, a long time ago, people used to tell magical stories of wonder and enchantment. These stories were called fairy tales. These stories are not in this book. The stories in this book are almost fairy tales, but not quite. The stories in this book are fairly stupid tales. I mean, what else would you call a story like Goldilocks and the Three Elephants? This girl walking through the woods smells peanut porridge cooking. She decides to break into the elephant's house, eat the porridge, sit in the chairs, and sleep in the beds. But when she gets in the house, she can't climb up on the baby elephant's chair because it's too big. She can't climb up on Mama Elephant's chair because it's much too big. And she can't climb up on Papa Elephant's chair because it's much, much too big. So she goes home. The end. And if you don't think that's a fairly stupid, you should read Little Red Running Shorts or maybe The Stinky Cheeseman. In fact, you should definitely go read the stories now because the rest of this introduction just kind of goes on and on and on and doesn't really say anything. I just stuck it on the end here so I would fill up the page and make it look like I really knew what I was talking about. So stop now. I mean it. Quit reading. Turn the page. If you read the last sentence, I won't tell you anything. Jack. Up the Hill, Fairy Tale Forest, 1992. Surgeon General's warning. It has been determined that these tales are fairly stupid and probably dangerous to your health. So this is the way this book's gonna go, okay? So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll read a couple of them, see how they go, okay? All right. Here we go. I'm going to get one that maybe you know. Do you know The Princess and the Pea? Well, this one's called The Princess and the Bowling Ball. Once upon a time, there was a prince, and this prince's dad had a mom, the king and the queen. Somehow got it into their royal heads that no princess would be good enough for their boy unless she could feel a pea through 100 mattresses. So it should come as no surprise that the prince had a very hard time finding a princess. Every time he met a nice girl, his mom and dad would pile 100 mattresses on top of a pea and then invite her to sleep over. When the princess came down for breakfast, the queen would ask, "How did you sleep, dear?" The princess would politely say, "Fine, thank you." And the king would show her the door. Now, this went on for 3 years. And of course, nobody ever felt the pea under 100 mattresses. But one day the prince met a girl of his dreams. He decided he'd better do something about it. That night, before the princess went to bed, the prince slipped his bowling ball under the 100 mattresses. When the princess came down for breakfast the next morning, the queen asked, "How did you sleep, dear?" "This might sound odd," said the princess, "but I think you need another mattress. I felt like I was sleeping on a lump as big as a bowling ball." The king and queen were satisfied. The prince and princess were married, and everyone lived happily ever after, though maybe not completely honestly ever after the end. And this is the picture. That was the whole story.